Welcome, everyone. So let's be real for a second. If you have ever felt completely overwhelmed trying to figure out how to best support early childhood development, you are in exactly the right place. I was recently digging into some research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child, and I came across a literal paradigm shift in how we understand infant brain development. I'm so excited to unpack this with you in this explainer because it is absolutely going to change the way you view those everyday, mundane moments with a baby. Right off the bat, let's just address the elephant in the room. Can you really buy your baby a better brain? If you walk down the aisle of literally any baby store, the answer seems to be a resounding, undeniable yes. Every single year, a multi-million-dollar industry puts a massive amount of pressure on parents and caregivers. We're told over and over that we absolutely need the newest sensory toys, the flashcards, the specialized music programs, and the clever learning apps just to optimize a child's development. It creates so much anxiety, right? You want to give them language, confidence, curiosity, and it totally feels like if you aren't buying the right gadgets, you're already falling behind. Okay, but let's dive into this and look at the actual paradigm shift here. When we compare what we are sold by marketers with what actually works biologically, a completely different picture emerges. It turns out the single most powerful brain-building tool out there is absolutely free. It doesn't come in a box, it doesn't require a screen, and it definitely doesn't need Wi-Fi. It takes just 5 scattered minutes throughout a normal day. What actually works? Timing, attention, and warm human responses. That's the whole shebang. Section 1. The science of connection. To really grasp why this is so powerful, we have to look at the hard science of connection. Neural development research proves time and time again that human connection, not expensive gadgets, is what physically builds lasting neural pathways in a growing mind. To show you just how deeply babies are wired for this connection, let's look at this classic study from the 1970s by developmental psychologist Dr. Edward Tronick. It's known as the still face experiment. Notice that first minute on the timeline. A mother sits facing her baby, smiling, responding warmly. The baby absolutely lights up, kicking and cooing. Then, at the 2-minute mark, the mother's face just goes completely blank. She doesn't leave the room, she just stops answering. By minute 3, the baby realizes the connection is gone. They smile bigger, they point, they squirm, trying literally every tool they have to bring her back. And when it doesn't work, the baby becomes incredibly distressed. But look at minute 4. The very second the mother responds warmly again, the baby's whole nervous system immediately settles. The room feels safe again. This visually and emotionally proves that babies are fundamentally built to seek human response, not to grow in emotional silence. And this dynamic is further proven by a landmark MIT study led by Dr. Rachel Romeo. Her team scanned young children's brains and found this fascinating result. The strongest predictor of brain development wasn't simply how many words a child heard from adults. Nope. It was the number of back and forth conversational turns they shared. The magic isn't just talking near a child, it's talking with them. And honestly, the most hopeful part of this research, this effect holds true across all income levels and family situations. This advantage isn't reserved for wealthy homes filled with expensive tools. It is available to absolutely everyone. Section 2. What is serve and return? So what exactly do we call these magical back-and-forth conversational turns? Well, the Harvard Center on the Developing Child has spent more than 2 decades studying this, and they call it serve and return. Think of it like a game of ping pong. It's a responsive back-and-forth interaction. The child signals, that's the serve. The caregiver responds warmly, that's the return. Now, from the outside looking in, this might look way too small to matter. It might look like nothing meaningful happened at all. But inside your baby's brain, wow, this tiny exchange is rapidly lighting up pathways that become the very building blocks of connection, language, and trust. Let's paint a picture of what a serve actually looks like in real life. A serve is simply a coo, a glance, a reach, or just a tiny little sound. Imagine a baby lying on a playmat, staring up at a ceiling fan as if it holds the secrets of the universe. Their eyes catch yours, their mouth opens softly, and they make a little ooh sound. They aren't just making random noise to pass the time. They are reaching out toward you with literally the only language they have. That is their way of inviting you in. Section 3. 5 steps to build brains. All right, let's dive into how this builds into an actionable daily practice. This framework is adapted from FIND, which stands for Filming Interactions to Nurture Development, created by Dr. Phil Fisher and his colleagues. It breaks down into these 5 really gentle steps recommended by Harvard. Step 1, notice the serve. Step 2, return the serve. Step 3, give it a name. Step 4, take turns and wait. And step 5, practice endings and beginnings. These steps take those ordinary, easily missed interactions and turn them into powerful developmental tools for a growing brain. Let's look a little closer at each word. Step 1 is to notice the serve and share the child's focus of attention. Look, most serves are super quick and quiet, which is exactly why busy caregivers can easily miss them. But once you start noticing what a baby's looking at or pointing to during a totally mundane task, like getting them dressed or waiting in line at the grocery store, you learn a tremendous amount about their current abilities, interests, and needs. Once you notice it, step 2 is to return the serve by supporting and encouraging them. And no, this doesn't require a scripted lesson plan. You can offer comfort with a hug, say a few gentle words, or simply make an enthusiastic sound like, "Oh, I see." You can smile and nod, or just bring a pointed object closer to them. Returning the serve with this kind of warmth rewards their curiosity. It basically tells the child, hey, your thoughts and feelings are genuinely heard and understood here. Step 3 is where you really supercharge the interaction. Give it a name. Name what the child is seeing, doing, or feeling. If they point at a dog, you smile and say, "Yes, that's a dog." When you name what a child is focused on, you are literally making critical language connections in their brain long before they can actually talk or understand your specific words. It gives them words to use eventually and lets them know you care right now in the moment. So this brings us to step 4, which is absolutely crucial, and it's highlighted perfectly in this quote from Harvard. Waiting is crucial. After you return a serve, you have to pause. Leave space for the next serve. Let them wiggle, let them blink, or let them coo back. Because the deepest learning actually happens in that tiny, quiet space you give your child to form an idea. You serve, you return, and you wait. That gentle rhythm is how a true conversation begins to breathe. Finally, step 5. Practice endings and beginnings. Children will definitely signal when they are done. They might drop a toy, pick up a new one, completely turn away, or start to fuss. Recognizing these signals prevents you from forcing a lesson when they are just tired. Finding these moments for children to take the lead supports them in confidently exploring their world on their own terms. Section 4. The power of everyday moments. I know that hearing about brain development and neural pathways can feel a bit overwhelming, but let's bring this all back down to earth. Caregivers, you do not need endless energy or a perfectly quiet house to do this. We often exhaust ourselves striving for these staged minutes, trying to find the perfect parenting words, creating pressured learning lessons, or waiting for a totally quiet hour. But the beautiful reality is that what actually wires a child's brain are ordinary moments. A simple diaper change, folding laundry while they sit nearby, walking down the hall. Just 5 honest, scattered minutes a day of noticing their serves and warmly returning them in these ordinary moments is entirely enough to shape their neural wiring for life. And this brilliantly illustrates our ultimate takeaway for this explainer. Toys are not the center of your baby's development story. You are the center. An app cannot notice what a baby is genuinely interested in. A flashcard cannot feel excitement and meet it with a living, breathing smile. But your living, responsive face, your timing, and your attention, that tells your baby that they are safe, that they are loved, and that the world actually answers back. Which leaves us with one final thought. The very next time you are with a child and the room gets quiet, watch for that glance, that reach, or that tiny sound. They are reaching for you. They're inviting you into a conversation. So are you ready to return the serve? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will absolutely see you next time as we continue to break down the science of how we learn and grow.